I think let's start on Argentina, because Scott Bessent just made a little news, moved the ball forward in some way about the unprecedented bailout, essentially. I think would normally be known as a currency swap, but usually that's predicated on some sort of policy change, which we're not seeing right now. But he told Kristen Welker that we are supporting Argentina with this 40.
We have the sound.
Oh, we have the sound. Great.
Yeah,
Let's play the sound.
How is this move America first, Mr. Secretary?
Well, Kristen, it is America first because we are supporting a U.S. ally. There will be no taxpayer losses. This is a swap line. This is not a bailout. And it is from the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which Treasury, I control at Treasury. It has never registered a loss. It is not going to register a loss this time. We are supporting a U.S. ally in Latin America, and we want to set the tone in Latin America.
Rina, let's start with you, put you on the spot. How is this America first? And I mean, when you take a step back and look at our, again, as Scott Bessent was saying, our Latin America strategy here, the Trump administration's approach to the Western Hemisphere, it feels anathema to MAGA.
In essence, I think what Bessent is trying to say here is, trust me, is that this is something that is all economic, and you shouldn't take it at face value. It is America first in that this is with an ally. This is the first time hearing from, frankly, any administration that Argentina is an ally. What do we need to do in general with LATAM countries is hold steady. So I don't know why this move is coming at this time, except for anything that could benefit this administration economically. On the agricultural front, it is American beef farmers that lose out. We know that. I don't know the messaging that could be smart this week to get Americans to understand why they would do this swap, again, as Bessent calls it. I think this is a hurry up and wait moment, though. We need to see what facts come out as part of the deal. Is it one in which taxpayer money gets traded? Bessent, again, is saying no, but I would not hold him to that.
And it also happens to be around the same time that there's midterm elections for Milei in Argentina, right? And so he's an ally of Donald Trump's because they call him the Trump of Latin America. So that seems like a key piece of information that we have here. I want to bring it back to the elections we're having here. And we have this collage that's looking at major elections in California, New Jersey, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maine. We're very busy in off years. Ophira, there is, you have talked about Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey a lot on here. When you look at both of those cases, what I'm hearing from Democrats is they're feeling, I'll put you on the spot, I know you're going to tell me that you feel good about both of them, but I'll make you pick a baby. People feel very good about Virginia, mostly because I think, you have a candidate with an interesting backstory who's pretty moderate, and then you have Winsome Sears, the lieutenant governor, who's like, it is
out there.
Yes,
and Trump has very notably refused to endorse.
Very important. And then you have Mikey Sherrill, who it's closer than a lot of Democrats feel comfortable with, right? I think yesterday we had a poll that showed it was 5 points in between the two of them with like a
4.7% margin of error.
So so it's basically tied. That feels closer for people than they're comfortable with. What are you guys hearing?
Well, I think, first of all, let's not forget that Phil Murphy won re-election by 3 points last time around. And we have been saying at the DJ, this is always going to be a competitive race. But I think we feel good about the race that Mikey Sherrill's running. Just yesterday was the first day of early vote in New Jersey. There's turnout levels closer to 2024. I think that bodes well for Democrats. And I also think it bodes well that Mikey Sherrill's running a race that's focused on kitchen table issues. I was just talking to somebody who's in New Jersey, is a voter, was talking about how energy prices, which is something that Mikey Sherrill has a day one state of emergency plan to do something about, are really hitting home with people. And she's the only one with a plan. It's this time of year where people want to freak out. I think understandably, people are looking to both of these races as a sign of where the party is. I feel good about the races that Abigail and Mikey are running because they are laser focused and hitting home on these issues. And they have two opponents who are no daylight with Trump, not focused on how they're going to wake up every day and make a difference for you in your everyday life. If you're looking for a leader who's going to wake up and think about you every day, I think there's a clear contrast that the two of them are making that Jack Ciattarelli and Winsome Sears are showing every day. I think about how I can serve Donald Trump, not you.
Rina, to the point of Democrats being nervous about about New Jersey. One of the reasons why I sort of understand the nervousness is I go back to the 2024 election. Vice President Harris won New Jersey, but she only won it by 5 points, which was a bit of an earthquake for people who watched that state. So why shouldn't some Democrats be a little nervous that in that latest poll that Eugene just brought up, that Mikey Sherrill, yes, she's ahead by 5 points, but the margin of error in that poll is 4.7%.
Exactly.
So it's basically tied.
Look, New Jersey politics are wild. I used to work for a member of Congress from there. It is a wild state. But I will say this, these races are early stress tests for both parties. Yeah. And in New Jersey, it's about turnout. If the progressives overreach, the suburbs in New Jersey will tell them. And I think in Virginia, of course, you know, the governor's seat is a national bellwether, like it or not. I think if the Democrats lose it, the Democrats lose momentum.
But Mikey Sherrill is not a when I hear words,
sure,
people say progressives, I think a lot of people think like far left, crazy people. Mikey Sherrill is, you know, a center-left person. She's a rational, reasonable person. So I don't see how she would sort of inflame the suburbs.
It's all about how it's been painted. The tie to what's happening in New York, for example. New York proves that voters still hate one-party rule when it comes to taxes and to crime spike. That feeds over into New Jersey. I think a little bit of the sentiment is going to come from the national image of Democrats. So you can say Mikey Sherrill's great, but why is Jack Ciattarelli doing so well? It just tells you, bottom line is that off years are not tune-ups. They are previews to what is ahead. And I think show up here or the map tilts red. That's the message to your Democrats.
Well, we say at the DJ there's no such thing as off years. And last year, actually, we outperformed the national ticket, had held on to 3 Democratic seats despite what was happening at the national level. And I think that's because Democratic governors are talking about issues that resonate with voters. And it's the economy in both Virginia and New Jersey. Both Jack Ciattarelli and Winsome Sears have not only shown that they're not going to wake up every day and think about how they can lower their costs, they're also going to take out-of-step positions on things like abortion rights, protecting the right to marry who you want to marry. Just the other day, Winsome Sears said in the debate that discriminating against somebody because they're gay is not discrimination.
Yeah, I am speaking, Jackie.
But that conversation about the economy, there's no one doing that better and more effective at it right now than Zohran Mamdani, regardless of the democratic socialism of it all. You had Hakeem Jeffries this week who finally decided to endorse him. But we've seen this strategy employed by Democratic establishment to try to, I guess, ignore him, isolate him, separate themselves, basically pretend like the Zohran movement is not happening in any way. How do you think Democrats should be channeling candidates like him better, who are transcending the party establishment and picking up support beyond the base?
I think if there's a lesson to take away from this year, it's that people really want to know what you're going to do to fix their bottom line. And I think both Abigail, Mikey have rolled out plans for how they're going to reduce your energy costs, your housing costs, your health care costs. And they've hammered that home every single day of this campaign. I think that's why they're in such strong positions, and why hopefully in 10 days or so we'll have 10 historic women Democratic governors in this country instead of the 8 that we have now.